Hi guys, welcome back to Bugs Books. Today I'm going to be going through some of my absolute 5-star reads and hopefully convincing you to read with me. Some of my 5-star reads, some of the books that I would absolutely sell my soul to go through again and read them again. I don't really know where to start. I also think this series will really show, I think it's going to probably be a series because I've got a lot of 5-star reads, but it's going to really show that I have range because they all give very different vibes. So I'm going to start with a book that I read quite a while ago. I want to say that it's when this paperback came out, which is in 2021, so I read it a long time ago. However, I think about this book all the time. I just think it's such a beautiful book. I didn't hear that much about it at the time, and whenever I give it to someone, which I think this is a really good book to give to people, they've never read it, so I always think that's like a sign that the book's maybe slightly less known, but it's such a beautiful book and everyone that I've given it to absolutely loves it. As it is called All My Mothers by Joanna Glen. The book is about Eva Martinez Green, an only child full of questions about her beginnings. Between her emotionally absent mother and her physically absent father, there is nobody to answer them. Eva is convinced that all is not as it seems. Why are there no baby pictures of her? Why do her parents avoid all the questions about her early years? When her parents' relationship crumbles, Eva begins a journey to find these answers for herself. Her desire to discover where she belongs leads Eva on a journey spanning decades and continents, and along the way, she meets women who challenge her idea of what mother should be and who will change her life forever. I know I say it often, but domestic relationships are my absolute favourite to read about, and mother-daughter relationships is by far my favourite of all of them. This book does it magnificently well. It is a beautiful read. It is based in London mostly. It's mostly set in London, and it takes us through Ava's entire life as she discovers what it means to be a mother, what kind of mothers there are, who our mother figures are outside of just our mother, and she has a really wonderful way of describing what kind of mothers there are, and you will decide that you want to be or are a certain mother. You will recognise different mothers in your life in this book, and it's a really, really beautiful book. It's very moving. I definitely shed a couple of tears when I read it, and I've read it again since then, and it was just absolutely, it was just as beautiful. It held up really well, but it had me completely perplexed from beginning to end. A truly well-deserved 5-star read, and yeah, I love it. I don't give 5 stars easily, but this one was definitely one of them. My second 5-star read is Babel. Babel is my second 5-star read, by R.F.Kuang. If you haven't read this yet, I don't know where you've been, but you need to get on it. It's based in Oxford, 1836, the city of dreaming spires. It is the centre of all knowledge and progress in the world, and at its heart is Babel, Oxford University's prestigious Royal Institute of Translation. The tower from which all the power of the empire flows. Orphaned in Canton and brought to England by a mysterious guardian, Robin Swift thought Babel a paradise until it became a prison. but can a student stand against an empire? What can I say about this book? It's epic. It is ridiculously well researched. It says so much about modern politics and the British Empire and the effects it had on the rest of the world and how dangerous that was. And it says so much about the cultures that the British Empire had to stand on in order to be where it is now. It is academic, kind of that. It encapsulates that kind of quiet rebellion really, really well, and what that can turn into. I've heard it be criticised that sometimes it can be a bit slow to a certain extent. I didn't find that overtly, but I understand what people say with that. However, for me, this is an absolute 5-star read. I was in tears at the end of it because it just, you become so connected to the characters. They live inside me forever. Such a beautiful book. Robin is in my heart forever, as well as the others. I almost don't want to say too much because I don't want to give anything away, but it speaks so much to race and culture and identity and what it is like to be an immigrant in a mostly white culture. And there were so many times that I thought, oh my god, that is exactly what the experience is still like. And obviously this was from 1836. It helps that Rebecca is one of the smartest women I've ever been in a room with. I'm so looking forward to Catabasis as it comes out, because this is just the most amazing, fantastic 5-star book. So a bit of a departure from the previous one, but a huge recommendation. And if you haven't read it, please do. Even if you don't think you're into fantasy, this is the book to bring you into fantasy. It's such a fantastic book. Okay, my next 5-star books is When the Cranes Fly South by Lisa Ridzen. I'm probably saying that wrong because it is a Swedish name. It won Swedish Book of the Year, and it was translated by Alice Menzies. What can I say about this book? This is about a man named Bo. Actually, should I read the plot probably? Bo lives a quiet existence in his small rural village in the north of Sweden. He is elderly and his days are punctuated by visits from his care team and his son. Fortunately, he still has his memories, phone calls with his best friend Tur and his beloved dog Sixten for company. Only now, his son is insisting the dog must be taken away. The very same son that Bo is wanting to mend his relationship with before his time is up. The threat of losing Sixten stirs up a whirlwind of emotions and makes Bo determined to resist and find his voice. An instant #1 best-selling in Sweden and winner of the Swedish Book of the Year, When the Cranes Fly South is a profoundly moving and life-affirming novel about one man's desire to preserve his autonomy, about the multitudes of stories containing within a life, and the big things for which we have no words. Actually, that sums it up really well. Autonomy is has such a strong presence in this novel. It is all about how difficult it can be to feel like you're losing that autonomy at the end of your life. How difficult it is for a son to have to take the autonomy back, for a child to look at their parents and watch them age and not be the person that they were, and how difficult it is for a grown man to have to give up that autonomy because he he is no longer able to do the things that he used to do so easily. It's also a fantastic telling of how much a man can love his dog, but the dog definitely represents a lot of things in his life. It is beautifully tragic. I cried more than I've ever cried. It was heartbreaking, but in a really beautiful way, and how wonderful it is to be loved, and how difficult it can be to have to say goodbye to something that can only mean that you were really, really loved. It made me think of my grandparents, it made me think of my parents, it made me bawl, and it is just an absolutely beautiful book, quite reminiscent to A Man Called Ove. If you liked A Man Called Ove, you'll definitely love this book. But yeah, it's such a beautiful book. Big recommendation. My last 5-star book for this video is Leigh Bardugo's The Familiar. This book was not a 5-star book until the end of the book. It is definitely a book you have to read cover to cover to truly understand how genius it is and how beautifully it is written. The book is a contemporary fantasy. It's set in Madrid. So, in a shabby house in the new capital of Madrid, Lucia Cortado uses scraps of magic to get through her days of endless toil. But when her scheming mistress discovers her scullion is hiding a talent for little miracles, she demands Lucia use those gifts to win over the royal court. Determined to seize this chance to better her fortunes, Lucia plunges into a world of power-hungry nobility, desperate kings, holy men and seers, where the lines between magic, science and fraud blur. With the pyres of the Inquisition burning, she must use every bit of her wit and resilience to win fame and hide the truth of her ancestry, even if that means enlisting the help of an embittered immortal familiar, whose own secret could cost her everything. Obviously Leigh Bardugo is very known for her Grimshaw universe, and I love half of the Grimshaw universe and I am not a big fan of the other half. I've also read some other books by her, but this is her best work by an absolute mile. It is a standalone. It is absolutely beautiful. It is a fantasy and it does it so well. The laws of her magic system are very clear and very easy to follow, and rooted in actual histories of our world. It is set in a time and place that maybe a lot of books don't explore, so it was very interesting to read and experience that time. It still talks about it gives you a real understanding of what it feels like to be an outcast and the complexities of that, and it was absolutely a 5-star read for me. I think it talks to things of female rage and female experience really well, and what it is to be a woman and what it is to be married and not have any control. And there's so much complexity to this book. Every character was so complex and had such background and understanding. I think this is by far her best work. Definitely a big recommend for me, and a very well deserved 5-star read. Those were my 5 stars for today. I have plenty more, so I'm sure that I will be doing a part 2 to this. But let me know what your 5-star reads are, and if you've read any of these ones, what you rated them. Have you read them? Will you be reading them? And did you also rate them 5 stars if you have read them? Thank you so much for joining me, and don't forget to subscribe. Hi. guys, welcome back to Bugs Reads. No. Hi guys, welcome back to Bugs Books. Oh my god. Okay.